welcome to the first edition of the Talon 2016. I'm TJ Hartnett, joined alongside Kyle Maslan, and we're going to bring you the world of sports. Let's start with football. Yesterday we had the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship, the Panthers and the Broncos taking it in their respective divisions. Kyle, who do you think is the favorite heading into the Super Bowl?
The favorite has to be Carolina. They demolished the Cardinals 49-15, while the Broncos edged out a 20-18 win over the New England Patriots. Cam Newton looked great. The Panthers' defense and special teams forced 7 total turnovers in the game. They really just demolished the number 2 seed in their building. Vegas agrees with me. Vegas opened up with a 5.5 line on the Panthers. Money started flooding on the Broncos, so it's now down to 4. But I got to take the Panthers. They're 15-1. They could be the 4th team with 18 wins, joining the 07 Patriots, the 85 Bears, and the 84 49ers. And I think they're going to do it. They have the defense that can do it, and they have the young quarterback that can do it.
Absolutely, and you mentioned it right there. I think the biggest aspect of this game is going to be Cam Newton versus Peyton Manning. Who do you give the edge to? In my opinion, I think it's got to be Cam Newton. Cam Newton is young. He's got the confidence. He's versatile. He's the one that makes a difference in the game, and he's a lot of fun. But Peyton Manning has the experience. You know, he's an edgy guy that's been there before, and he can show up at any time, at any given place. So, honestly, it could go either way, but do you agree with me? You think Newton would take it?
I think Newton, current Newton, has the edge because Peyton Manning is 39, I believe. I believe he's the smartest player in football, possibly football history. I've heard some people on ESPN talk about him, and they just rave about how smart he is in the film room, how much he prepares for a game. However, his arm is not the same as it was. Cam Newton can make all the throws. Peyton Manning has a hard time making the 20-yard throw, which he needs to make to beat these Panthers defenders because they play a lot of zone defense. So if you can beat them deep, you got a shot. But I'm not sure if Peyton Manning has the arm strength to beat the great Carolina defense.
I agree with you. And bringing up the defense, we got 2 main positions that we got to talk about. First, it's the linebacker slot. Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis taking on Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware. This is a really tough matchup. You got to be a little biased and say Luke Kuechly's got the advantage, being BC guys like ourselves. But honestly, on both sides of the ball, you saw how dominant Denver's defense was getting to Tom Brady in the AFC Championship game. You think they can get to Newton, or honestly, is Newton too fast and will get into the field?
Well, I think they can get to Newton. The problem could be tackling Newton. Newton is the size of a linebacker. He's 6'5", 250, I believe. He's a hard man to bring down. However, while they're both linebackers, they both play very different roles in the defense. With Denver, Ware and Miller are edge rushers. Their job is to get to the quarterback, except occasionally intercept Tom Brady. Whereas with Davis and Kuechly, they're more traditional middle linebackers. They do a lot of coverage. They do a lot of zone coverage especially, and get a lot of interceptions because of it. They don't rack up the same sack totals that Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware do. They're just different types of linebackers. So while they're both linebackers, and they're both impactful linebackers, they play very different style games. And the defenses, while both great, are very different style. The Broncos tend to shift towards man because they have elite man-to-man corners, while the Panthers tend to go with scheme. Well, they have a very good corner, Norman. They go with scheme in the zone. Same way that Seattle went with Sherman in the zone a couple years ago when they embarrassed Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl.
There you go right there. And interesting to note, Kuechly and Von Miller both had a pick in their respective championship games. So a lot to look forward to. We will have a more in-depth breakdown of a Super Bowl preview next week. We're going to move on to our second topic right now, though, and that's BC hockey. For those of you who don't know, legendary coach Jerry York just got his 1,000th victory on Friday against UMass Amherst. He then played a game Saturday. A little slow, the BC Hockey Eagles came out, but they are still got to that 1,000th win, show how important Jerry York is to this team, and they are number 4 in the polls heading towards the home stretch of the NCAA hockey season. Do you see BC making it to the Frozen Four here? What are you seeing from this team that can really make a run?
You know what? I see the team is good. I called the game against UConn. I was doing color commentary, and during that game I said, our offense is a lot like a power running game in football. You pound and pound. You might not see much in the first period. You might not even see much in the second period. That third period, they just grind on you. They're big, they're fast, and they can hit. And by that point, Creel had a great game for UConn. But a lot of teams, when you'll see breakage, that's when you see the real BC team being able to do what it can. And Colin White, I think, is the key. Colin White was in the juniors. We lost to Ohio State, not a good loss, and we lost to Providence, which Providence is very good, give them that.
Absolutely.
But Colin White comes back. We have not lost a game since Colin White came back. We have tied BU, we have tied Providence, we have tied UConn, but we have not lost. We beat UMass, we beat BU, we beat Providence, and I believe we Did we win one more game?
Could have been. Honestly, with this team, there's too many wins to count.
Sometimes just get lost, like Alabama football.
Absolutely, yeah. Wish we had that. Anyway, breaking down Jerry York's year and the freshmen that are on the team. Interesting to note in the UConn game, Casey Fitzgerald did not play, back issues, but he's another guy that was on that U.S. juniors team. Him and Colin White, we're forgetting Miles Wood, Chris Brown. There's tons of guys that are freshmen that are making an impact on this team. And honestly, if this is going to be the year, it kind of has to be with the freshmen and the sophomore talent that we have. Could be going to the NHL in the years to come. We'll move on to our final topic now, and that's BC basketball. Not reaching the success that our BC hockey team has found this year. They're 0-6 in the ACC right now, suffering their last loss to Notre Dame, a very tough loss in South Bend. They have Florida State tomorrow. What do you see from this team that can really provide some confidence and a bright future for Boston College athletics on the Heights?
Well, I feel like basketball is the similar state that football is. It's a lot of young guys. You're selling on hope and promise. And I believe it's 7 freshmen are currently on the team scholarship. And I really believe that Jerome Robinson and A.J. Turner have potential to be catalysts for, not this year, but maybe next year and the year after, when you're a junior and a senior, and when I'm a sophomore or a junior, of really making this team competitive and exciting to watch. And the ACC, which a lot of people forget how good the Big 10 and Big 12 have been this year.
Yeah.
The ACC has a lot of very, very good teams, and they're from Duke, Notre Dame, UVA, Miami, 15th in the nation.
There are so many.
Pitt.
North Carolina, number 1 in the ranks
UNC.
right now. They're coming into the Heights in a little bit. Everybody knows the ACC is the top of the top. Even a Duke team, as good as they are, has fallen very, very far into the rankings. They were 20, now they're 24th. They are threatened to fall out of the top 25 right now. Notre Dame, a team that fell out early to losses to such teams as Monmouth and so on and so forth. UVA lost a couple tough games here and there. So the ACC really does get knocked around just as a lot of teams do in their respective divisions. Boston College, being a young team, probably isn't going to find success this year, but I 100% agree with you. They have a bright future. If their team believes in the program, sticks to Jim Christian's ideals, and moves forward, people like Robinson, Irvins, A.J. Turner, those are guys that are the future of this team, that if they believe, they stick to it. I honestly agree with you. My junior year being a little ambitious, your junior year, I would say, that's the year that we start making the push towards the mid of the ACC, and who knows what happens from there. But for right now, we have Florida State tomorrow. That's a big game for us, a huge turning point if we can get that win. That wraps it up here from the Talon. One last thing to note, Boston College women's hockey, 26-0. You set a record, I believe it is. Alex Carpenter, new program record. Alex Carpenter, Player of the Year, recognized on Saturday. Congratulations to them. They have a lot more to accomplish, but honestly, I think they'll get it. For TJ Hartnett,
I'm Kyle Maslan.
Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.